I've pressed the button. I'll let you know.
Oh, you press the button.
I've pressed the button. It says starting. It says YouTube is receiving us.
His is narcissist. I didn't even realize that was the title of this episode. Well,
Well,
as I am the world's most qualified human being in all things ever, let me tell you that narcissism is never an issue,
no, of
but
course
everyone
not.
else is.
Everyone else is, of course, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
that's how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now I'm on my other account where I can chat and stuff. All right.
Here we go.
I think.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I can post in the chat now.
All
Good, good,
right,
good.
perfect. Oh wow, Steve H gave us a super chat,
Oh,
$2.
thank you.
Says pancakes. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I love pancakes.
I love pancakes, and I've been actually making pancake mix and waffles in a waffle maker lately, which is basically the same thing. And that's the only thing I'll make that my wife will eat. She's like, "What should we do for dinner?" I'm like, "Okay, I can make this or that, or this other complicated thing, or like this, or I could really piece something really amazing together." She's like, "Well, no, 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 no." Waffles? Yeah, waffles sound good. It's like, she posted on Facebook the other day. She's like, what's a great, sort of money saving bulk, type of food for like couples with parents that they can make during the week and whatever. And everyone's like, oh, do this, do that, do this. And I responded, Anna, eat what I make, even if it's not soup or waffles. Because I'll make soup where it's like a broth and I'll throw in a bunch of vegetables and I'll do like egg drops in it. So there's like some more like protein mixed in and whatever. It's really good. I season it, but she loves that, and I'll make a big batch of it. And she loves when I make waffles, and she loves when I pile on different layers of candy. She'll eat that, but she will not eat anything else that I make. Unfortunately, but she's also pregnant, and her tastes have been are more specific now that she's pregnant. Well, especially in her first trimester, but she's in her second now. They're a little bit less specific. She's not as nauseous, but it's definitely changed the way that she likes and dislikes certain flavors. So it's extremely hard to cook for her.
Yeah, and it's just constantly changing because your body is basically just screwed 6 different ways by all those hormones.
Yeah,
So
pretty
it's
much.
like there is no bulk purchase that you can really make while you're pregnant because in 2 weeks you're going to want completely different food.
Yeah, and she's always been a little pickier than I am. I refer to her as a chicken nuggets girl because she was kind of like when we first started dating. Like, what we would go to like a diner, like a Greasy Spoon, and like she chicken like no, I was about to say spicy chicken wrap. That's Wendy's. Like a fried chicken wrap, like with the batter, like a chicken tender wrap. Basically, that's like was like the go-to, And then she kind of started expanding her taste a little bit more, just by virtue of I don't know if it's being around me or just kind of grown up or whatever. But alas, that Facebook comment post really defeated me because I I've been working so hard to cook. What's
Oh man, somebody made a weed reference before Far Out Ideas got in here.
Oh,
I'm
you're
amazed.
supposed to wait. You're supposed to wait.
Well done,
Professor Penn
Ganzman.
says, "Did I miss the topic about YouTubers?" No, we're actually are just BSing now while YouTube pushes out, the announcement that we're live, basically. So we haven't even started with our first topics yet, and that'll be sort of
Just
more in the middle.
randomly griping.
Yeah, we're just talking about my wife, and she's amazing, but she's hard to cook for, and all that stuff. So. What are you going to do? Great YouTube gaming topics I'm sure all of you really want to hear about. So, but yeah, actually, I think we have a pretty good group so far in the chat here, John. Like, it seems to be YouTube somehow must have glitched and worked properly. Yeah, it seems like they've notified people that we're here. So, hey, welcome to Hard4Games Gaiden. If you're not aware of what Hard4Games Gaiden is, it is our side show. We primarily, in our main episodes, will do reviews, but we'll also do a lot of like dev hardware stuff, beta stuff, unique things that maybe you haven't seen before or didn't know existed previously. But we also like talking about current events, chatting with you guys, and the news. But because we're not a news channel, if we were to do this type of video, normally YouTube would be like, whoa, this is different, and wouldn't allow you to even see it because it wouldn't even go into your feed. But because they're trying to compete with Twitch, and they want YouTubers to do more live content, we can do something that's against the grain of our channel, and YouTube will still actually promote it. So until they close up that loophole, we're going to be doing Hard4Games Gaiden every other Sunday. Again, it is our side show. So yeah, anyways, that's that. That's our introduction. I'm here with the disembodied voice of John. John, go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, John is here. He's not on camera because he's doing a little bit of technical PlayStation work on the side here. So he'll be half paying attention.
My PlayStation's being a rotten little bastard. Right?
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? That's kind of the nature of the game here. Oh man, look at these pro Jared comments up in here. So, you know, we are going to be talking about that a little bit, but less about him specifically, because I feel like that's been kind of been done to death. I just kind of want to talk about like the nature of like the culture on YouTube once people reach a certain level of popularity and notoriety. I think it's really more what we're going to be discussing, but we will be discussing Pro Jared as an example of that. But, you know, we're not like a gossip channel, you know, we're not like a channel where we're like a hot drama channel, so it's like that's not really our thing to like dig into him too much, but we'll touch on it a bit. But let's go ahead and get started with our actual live stream. So I want to do a couple channel updates to start off with, as we always do. So we have finally nailed down the date of our ASPCA charity event. For those of you that aren't aware, when you hear the "In the Arms of the Angels" song on TV and like the poor little caged animals and they're dying, that's ASPCA. Basically, they rescue abused animals. So we're going to be doing a charity sort of purchasing event for them, and basically that's going to be Sunday, 7 p.m. June 23rd. It's going to be via Hard4Games Gaiden. So again, Sunday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. Did I say 27th? June 23rd at 7 p.m. And basically we are going to be auctioning off, let's see if I have enough. We're going to be selling, here we go. Where are ya? Where are ya? Dave Perfect 10 Perazzo has made a bunch of replica 3D printed N64DD discs with our logo on them. We're going to be selling them. We have about 7 or so of them. And basically how it's going to work is that you let us know you want one in the chat. We're going to be selling them for about 30 bucks, I think. First person, once I say, hey, okay, here's a yellow one, here you go. First person who says that they want it, they have about a 5-minute window to PayPal us the money, and then, you know, with their shipping address, and boom, then it's theirs. And then we'll just kind of keep doing that throughout the stream. So what time zone? Good question. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're in Michigan, so it's Eastern Standard Time. And then, so yeah, so basically we're going to be selling off these things. We have a variety of different Starburst-like colors for these. A couple of other 3D printed trinkets we're going to be selling off as well. And my mother recently gave this back to me because apparently she doesn't care about me anymore. A genuine hand-printed Tony from 1990. What is this called? I guess one of those things in school where like plaster mold of my hand.
Oh, the handprint.
Yeah, the handprint, yeah. I thought that would be funny if we sold that off too. But
it's really funny that she gave that back.
Yeah, she's like, you know. But
she's like, sorry, I just hate you. Here,
yeah.
have this.
And again, the 3D printed discs, there's no disc in them. It's a 3D print shell of a disc, but it's a sort of memorabilia sort of thing. And any super chats during that Hard4Games Gaiden, we will be donating to the ASPCA. So what we're going to be doing is we'll be collecting all the funds, getting everything to, you know, transfer via PayPal, whatever, and at the end of the week, posting the receipts to social media, so you know that everything's on the up and up, and all that money went towards helping these animals. I'd like to do something like this once or twice a year, probably alternating between animal charities and also, you know, sort of like feed the hungry, homeless, for humans, types of charities. They kind of like alternate between our species and not our species in terms of how we can help people. So, again, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, June 23rd. We're going to be selling off these discs, replica discs, for charity. We hope that we hope that you all can join us. Second bit of update is that our P.O. Box, which previously was not public, we have now made public. So it is in the description of every video now. Not all the previous videos, but this video and every video moving forward. It's on our...
so we don't have to edit 500 videos at once.
No, not gonna, can't do that. Not gonna do that. Totally not worth the time. And it's in our Facebook about section. It's in the channel about section, that kind of thing. So we thought it'd be fun, if you guys have a hankering to send us anything, that we could do like videos of what you guys have sent. Obviously, you don't have to, but if you feel like you want to, it is there for you. Now, the one concern that we had previously, and the reason why we didn't make it public, is that so many people send us stuff to borrow, but all of that is prearranged. That's like, hey, would you like to borrow this? And we're like, yes or no. And if it's yes, here's our policy that we follow when we borrow things. Do you accept this policy? Yes. Okay. And then it costs money for us to return it and such. So our concern previously, why we didn't post it, our address, our P.O. Box, was because we thought people would just send us stuff to borrow and be like, oh, I'm going to need that back. So we're trying this. Don't send us anything to borrow unless we've already agreed to it. If we've talked about it,
a contract, a little form, and all that stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So this is just if you want to send us something. People have sent us little like care packages or like amiibos in the past, which have been pretty cool. Feel definitely free to do so.
Sent us that Japanese PS2, which we still have yet to use in an episode, but don't worry, I'm still working on that.
Pretty badass though, regardless. But yeah. So again, we're opening it up. See what you guys have, and again, we're not going to be returning anything and spending our money to do that unless you talk to us about it first. Just because that would be insane, basically. But
we'll probably do unboxing stuff as just part of Gaiden, so it isn't crapping up your feed. The whole bunch of unboxing videos. I know that a lot of channels get pretty bad about that. Where it's like the only content they produce after a certain point.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good Gaiden segment, I think.
Yeah. I think that fits way better with what this is than how a lot of other channels do.
I mean, if there's something pretty crazy, we might put it in a normal episode, or maybe just the first one to be an episode so people are aware that the P.O. Box exists, but then kind of relegate it toward Gaiden in the future. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Probably no one will send us anything anyway, so we won't have to worry about it.
We'll just open empty boxes and then just remark how sad we are and how none of you guys love us.
Yeah, exactly, right.
And we'll berate you and talk down to you.
Yeah.
And we're already foreshadowing this in an episode called Is Narcissism a Problem on YouTube?
Well, that ain't it, Chief. To quote Mr. Peanut Butters. But let's go ahead and jump into the Sega Genesis Mini, which in our episode notes I miswrote as the Sega Genesis Classic. It's actually not called that. Boom!
The Genesis Mini.
Yeah, it's the Genesis Mini. Sega Genesis Mini. I'm sure if you are in PAL regions or Japan, this would be the Mega Drive Mini. But as you are aware, there's the NES Classic, the SNES Classic, PlayStation aborted out a classic console.
Oh my god!
That's like,
that was. Ugh.
It's going for like $25-$30 nowadays. It's being bundled in with PS4 purchases for free. Nobody. We talked about this before. There's a comment that says, narcissism isn't the problem, it's the solution. So this thing, everyone was worried when they first heard that this was going to be a thing because they're like, oh no, they're going to make a piece of crap with @games. Well, guess what? That ain't it, Chief. To keep saying
Yeah,
that.
you get to use that again.
Yeah, they discontinued working with @Games, and so they're like, okay, this could have some quality. And then they're like, okay, but 40 games, okay, that's great. PS Classic only had 10. What are they gonna be? And so they knocked out 10. The first 10 were like, oh wow, okay, Bloodlines, Comic Zone, Gunstar Heroes, wow. All that stuff.
Good stuff.
And then, some licensed stuff, Thunder Force 3, all this, the Contra Hardcore, like Landstalker, which is sort of an action-adventure game. And then the last 3 were announced, or the third batch of 10 were announced. And it's just getting better and better and better. So
yeah, I was worried that they were going to start going like, okay, we're going to start crapping out.
Yeah.
Have some just random stuff in here.
Mm-hmm. So we have Beyond Oasis, which is sort of a Zelda-style action-adventure RPG-style game. Very well-known, very well-loved. Let's see if this is showing up properly. Actually, got to make this a little bit smaller on screen.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Now I can see it.
Let me see if this works. Oops, that didn't help at all. Hang on, I gotta adjust something in OBS here real quick.
And now everybody learns that Boomer Tony doesn't know how to use a website.
No, it's just that it's too big for the OBS.
Boomer Tony in the chat.
OBS window, unfortunately.
Yeah, it actually can be annoying to use that.
Yeah.
OBS is so weird to use.
Yeah, I guess I'll just scroll over them and highlight them. But anyway, so we have Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghouls and Ghosts is the sequel to Ghosts and Goblins. Ghouls? What did I say?
Goals and Ghosts?
Goals,
so
yeah, like goal poles.
It's like a sports version.
Hey,
yeah.
Well, you know what? I was wrong. That ain't it, Chief. So I'm just going to keep hitting that over and over again. But yeah, so anyways, this was a perfectly great arcade port. Alex Kidd is kind of one of those things where it's like, okay. Whatever. Golden Axe, a lot of people love Golden Axe. I never could get into it. I always thought it was too... Dan Hutchison refers to it as deliberate. I refer to it as stiff. I never really cared for Golden Axe. Phantasy Star 4 is... many people consider the best one on the Genesis. So you got a great RPG here. You have Street Fighter 2, a special Champion Edition, which is essentially like Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now here's a surprise one. Mega Man The Wily Wars. This was not released in the US. It was just a Japan and I think Europe release. It is a remake, a 16-bit upgrade in the style of... like Super Mario All-Stars of the original 3, I believe. Mega Man
1,
games.
2, and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
So that could be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-loved game. It's something that we didn't get. They totally went the route with Star Fox 2 and released something that we weren't expecting and didn't originally get.
Well, I mean, it wasn't completely unronied.
That's true.
Yeah, it is nice.
Still,
we finally get it here.
It's a nice
in an
treat.
official capacity.
Yeah, definitely. Sonic Spinball, which a lot of people love, a lot of people could go without. I think it's a pretty solid, enjoyable game. I would assume since we have Sonic Spinball, Sonic 2, and Sonic, we're going to be getting Sonic 3 and then Sonic and Knuckles in this last batch of 10. We have Vector Man, which is sort of Sega's answer to Donkey Kong Country, also a very well-loved game, and Wonder Boy and Monster World, which is another classic that's been, I think, remade recently. But a lot, like this last batch of 10 has really been just solid as solid can be. So when you look at this, there's a lot of games here that I've been meaning to play that I haven't played. I've never played Bloodlines. I love Thunder Force 3. I've actually never played Earthworm Jim, but I need to. Never played Hardcore.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Never played Landstalker or Beyond Oasis, but I've been reading these reviews lately that are just like, oh my god, it's amazing. Never played a Phantasy Star game. There's a lot. I was an SNES kid, basically, but my friends had Genesis games, so I played a lot of the platformers with them. But there's just so much stuff here that I'm like, okay, these were all games that I was thinking about purchasing anyways for myself, and now I could just go ahead and not purchase them, but purchase them on the Genesis Mini. It's fantastic. John, I've been talking my ass off here. What are your thoughts on this?
The big things I'm worried about are what the actual quality of the emulation is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that every now and then, like, emulation's gotten a lot better at emulating the weird sound chip the Genesis had. But I'm worried that, like, I know there's were some re-releases of Phantasy Star way back when, and apparently they sound like hot trash. And
Yeah.
I'm worried that some of these might come out like that because it's like this is a great lineup. No idea how the final execution is going to be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
they have set that ball perfectly on a tee, and
Mm-hmm.
for all I know, they might completely miss it and hit themselves in the back of the head with their own
Yeah,
bat.
they've set up the assist. They
Hopefully,
just
they
need
won't.
the hardware guys to knock them into the damn goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's solid, then I think we're like in good shape. This thing's gonna sell like hotcakes. Like everyone's gonna be like, holy crap! They're gonna just freaking lose their minds. Um, but the other interesting thing that I had heard was that those like first party approved retrobit controllers, like the Sega Genesis, the 3 button, 6 button, they made Sega Saturn ones as well. Obviously not the Saturn ones, but the 3 button and 6 button will be compatible with this unit. So a lot of people were complaining that the
It's
three
going to
button
be awesome.
controller, it's just the 3 button controller. They wanted a 6 button Genesis controller, but you'll be able to utilize a version of the 6 button controller that has a great build quality on this unit. You just have to purchase it separately, obviously, which, whatever. But basically, if you're going to be purchasing this, you'll get multiple uses out of it with like your actual Genesis, your your Mini, all that stuff. So I think that's pretty neat. I was pretty pleasantly surprised to hear that.
Yeah, and I've gotten to use one of the retrobit, the second party, whatchamacallit,
Controller?
Saturn
Oh yeah,
controller,
yeah,
and it's really nice. I mean, it's not like mind blowing, outdoes everything, but for a repro, it knocks it out of the park. Like
yeah,
Retrobit made those Hori tribute controllers we used last night,
yeah.
and those are fantastic.
Those were excellent. I was very pleased with those tribute
So
controllers.
it's after many years of having like Hyperkin usually does all right. I'm not a big fan
Mm-hmm.
of Circa's replacement controllers, but Retrobit is like, you know what? Enough of this Mad Catz bullshit. We're gonna start making really really good controllers, which was
Yeah,
very very much needed because almost everybody making a 64 reproduction controller makes an awful controller.
yeah, yeah. But for those of you wondering what John was referencing a little earlier, we decided to do an episode on homebrew slash aftermarket slash post console era N64 titles. So we did 40 Winks, which was made by Pico Interactive, or rather licensed by Pico Interactive, completed and released on physical cartridge. And we also threw in a game that I had live streamed before called Keck 64 Illuminati of Time, which is all about Trump as Pepe the Frog in a ROM hack of Mario 64. Just like
It's
bat,
glitchy madness.
like just insanity, total insanity, like totally opposite ends of the spectrum. But we had two physical carts for them, so we're like, all right, let's do both. Let's take a look at both of these. So yeah, so it was certainly an interesting experience last night, and it was sort of
Yeah.
it was very complimented by these controllers John brought over.
Yeah, I had bought one of those controllers, ended up really, really liking it. So I bought two more and ended up having more time. I had yesterday, like
Mm-hmm.
not even realizing that you guys were going to be filming an episode with the 64. And I was like, oh, well, shit, I just bought two more of these. My
Yeah,
only complaints with those controllers, well, okay, I have two minor complaints. That sort of polygon that goes around the controller stick
yeah,
that's supposed to hold it in the positions on the right side, it doesn't always make contact, so it kind of wiggles.
uh huh,
But you get used to it in like 30 seconds, and then it's nothing.
yeah,
But the the other complaint is that there are only three colors. I wanted four of them, So I'd have 4 matching ones, so I could have nice controllers for when I do Mario Party and stuff like that. And they only have the 3 right now. It's like, ah! So I guess I'm gonna have to get the Retro Fighters Brawler 64 as my 4th.
Oh, poor you.
Which thankfully that one's also a reasonable price.
How much is that one? I've heard good things about it.
It's like 30, 35, something like that.
Okay.
Which my employee discount, I got those Tribute 64s for like 20.
Yeah.
So I mean,
how much are they regular? Like 30?
In 25. I think.
Okay. Gotcha.
But geez, what's a Hori mini pad at these days? It's like 90 to 110, something like that. If it's for sale in the U.S., I think you can get them imported from Japan for less. But then you have to deal with the madness of importing and all that stuff.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and jump to the next topic here. And before we talk about narcissism on YouTube, I want to do a couple of my favorite comments from the last week. And it's funny because I had saved one of these, and then John sent me the image as well. Now, just to give everybody a little just to give everyone a little bit of background story, I was sitting like this in the episode.
Hold on. What the hell? My Google Home just thought that I was talking to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm unplugging that.
John's watching some inappropriate adult content in the background over here.
Yeah, I don't actually... What the hell did it just say to me?
I don't know. It sounded like your parents watching.
Please continue.
Anyways,
reading
what
you were going to read.
I was going to get a little background for everybody. So basically, I think it was maybe this drawer right here was just slightly ajar. Okay, just like this behind me, but it was kind of like over the shoulder. You can kind of see that it was slightly ajar. This was on the gun beta video. So for those of you that haven't seen it, Andrew sent me an NPDP cartridge of Guns. It was a early version of Neversoft's Gun for the GameCube, and this was just slightly open. As you can see, like it's nothing special in here. This like literally, I have like SCART cables and stuff, and like just. Some of it's organized, some of it's organized chaos. This is my drawer for stuff that I want to, camera and like connectors. So it's stuff that's organized, and it's also stuff that just, I keep it like loose cables of stuff that I use quickly so I don't have to constantly retie them. Whatever, it's not important, but that's what's in them. But someone made a real big deal out of that. So here it is. This person's handle is EU Cash. No problem with apples and oranges. I, for reference, was comparing the GameCube version proto to the Xbox retail version, and that's what he's referring to. No problem with apples to oranges. Big problem at this whole video. Haven't you barely slightly show us an open cabinet door behind your left shoulder? What is the deal with you leaving that cabinet door open during the whole video? And don't try and tell me it's because you have cables or something run through there. I'm not going to buy that. And then I accidentally cut it off, I think, but he then says, and I hate it. I'm sorry, I captured it wrong with my little capture device. Let me see if I can pull it up on the...
I think I sent it to you in our Facebook chat.
Yeah, let me go ahead and see if I could find that.
Scroll back. We've turned into boomers who don't know how to...
I'm pretty sure that's also the one that says that, and I hate it.
Yeah, probably. This is... See, the problem is I think we got that comment right before the Pro Jared thing exploded, so it's like the chat is hard to flip back through because so much drama happened.
Yeah, John and I were very actively following that.
It's either that or us, sharing beer or memes. Let's see.
Hang on, I scrolled past it by accident. Sorry, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there.
It's getting there. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking in the wrong chat. It's not Hard4Games team chat. Oh, yeah, there it is. No problem with apples to oranges. Big problem at this whole video. Haven't you barely slightly show us an open cabinet door behind your left shoulder? Period. Not... Wait, that was a question? What? What is the deal with you leaving the cabinet door open during the whole video? And don't try and tell me it's because you have cables or something run through them. I'm not going to buy it. that you're trying to tell us something in code, and I hate it.
Yeah, so that's the part
Well,
I accidentally cut off.
so big reveal, big reveal. We actually recently hired J.J. Abrams to do an alternative reality game, and that was a secret code,
Yeah.
and totally not that just that little cabinet door likes to open itself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like basically this guy was like, you have a little cabinet door open and you're trying to tell us something in code and I absolutely hate it. And I'm really upset. Like sometimes stuff happens in videos, like there are chords, you know? I mean, it's like I don't know. Anyways, here's the next one. This guy shows up periodically and he really gives far out ideas a run for his money. This guy's name on Instagram is Show Feet, and he comments Show Feet. He's the Show Feet guy, and he only says in his comments Show Feet.
Yeah, but haven't most of our complaints about feet
Yeah,
been
so
that I've accidentally shown my feet in videos and people are disgusted by it?
well, yeah, because we used to do these couch episodes, and you just plop your old toes up right near the lens.
It was comfortable, damn it.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, people are going to have to look at my feet. Well, we don't always do things in life we enjoy. And that was what I thought while filming that episode.
That's right. So Show Feet guy says Show Feet. So let's jump into the whole topic of narcissism on YouTube. And this is kind of something that had been in the back of my mind for a little while, and it kind of came to the forefront a little bit of my mind with the whole Pro Jared debacle. And I'm sure all of you have heard about this by now, and if you haven't, super short story. He cheated. He says he didn't cheat. He says they were in a polyamorous relationship. She says they were, but not during the cheating. Also, for years, he solicited nudes from fans, including underage fans. So he, like bad stuff, basically. Like, and especially like the alleged underage fans, like that he solicited nudes from and then posted, he has not apologized for, or like really said anything about it. But there's all these like little things where like victim playing and asking his ex-wife to sign an NDA with non-disclosure agreement, that kind of stuff. John, how would you describe his reply message, like his response?
When I saw that there was a reply, I started laughing because I was like, "Oh man, this is going to be just trying to shift all the blame, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And to quote a friend of mine, Twitter account, I can't remember what it is. It's Renekton Bot or Automated Croc or something like that. So he was at Disneyland today, and he started reading it, and he said, "This is the most entertaining thing I've seen all day," and I'm at fucking Disneyland.
That's amazing. Yeah, so, I kind of wanted this to be more of an open-ended conversation. I just sort of like have this weird sort of, like I've always kind of had this weird sort of feeling. I don't know if it's because Hard4Games has always been a smaller channel. So I don't know if it's just sort of like we've been in the shadow of other people for pretty much our whole existence. But, it just seems like everyone's on like a train that's on fire and they're destroying themselves because they hit like this certain like celebrity status, and it gets in their head that they're like real celebrities, which kind of they are, but it's YouTube, you know what I mean? So it's like you get this idea where it's like, oh man, like, I'm huge, I'm famous, I can do anything, I have no consequences, this, that, the other thing. And it's like, but it exists in like this bubble, right? So it's like the outside world barely recognizes YouTube or Twitch because they don't even consider it real celebrity because it doesn't permeate beyond this one medium that only certain people are looking at. But still, when we reach a certain point of like notoriety and online fame, it still gets into our heads as if we're real celebrities when we're not. You
speak for yourself. I'm the biggest one there's ever been. No, Yeah, I think part of the problem is that it's like incredibly normal, almost expected for everybody to kind of, what is it all the vloggers call it, like flexing, where
Uh-huh.
they're just showing off how cool they are and stuff like that. And I guess I've just never been a fan of that. I guess we were just guys in a basement who wanted to talk about NBA Jam. And
Yeah.
like, it's actually like, I don't mind when people like come into the shop and like, oh, hey, you're John from Hard4Games. I'm like, yeah, but it is also kind of weird. I don't know how best to describe it. It's strange.
Yeah, it's, I think it's flattering, but I also know that that happens only in very unique circumstances. It's not like it's not like we can't go outside without getting recognized. And the reason why is because no one cares. You know what I mean?
Necronut, I totally agree. I sounded like an extreme boomer there.
Yeah.
But kids these days.
Kids these
wait a
days.
minute. Where's my lawnmower beer?
Yeah. I just drank mine, but yeah. So for example, Dave Perazzo and I walked over to Urban Rest, a local neighborhood brewery. And it's actually in Ferndale. Walked over there with my son, and it was so adorable because my son doesn't like holding hands when we're walking. He just wants to run into traffic, but he really wanted to hold. he really wanted to hold Dave's hand the entire way. It was 0.8 miles we walked. He's 2.5. We walk him there to burn off some of his energy, but he just wanted to hold Dave's hand the entire time. I mean, who wouldn't, obviously, with Dave? But and then he wanted to hold my hand, so it's like it's like we were a couple walking down the street with our.
That would have been the funniest thing if somebody took a picture of that.
Yeah,
and posted it.
It was kind of
Hard4Games drama.
Yeah, exactly. Tony cheating on his wife with Dave, perfect 10 Perazzo. Anna instantly forgives him because it's Dave, perfect 10 Perazzo.
Is Tony screwing Dave? We can't blame him.
Anyways, we love Dave. He's the smartest among us, and he hasn't aged a day in like 30 years. So
I don't think he ever will.
No, he doesn't, because he doesn't have a lot of sun exposure, so his skin stays really nice. But
that reminds me. One of these days we need to work in. I found an old backup of my phone, and I found Dave's old bedroom right after high school. Every single square inch of every wall in his room is covered in an anime poster.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like 2005, and man, it is a time capsule.
It is. I'm gonna jump back because we're good. My story about Dave was even a tangent on this, which was a tangent on that. Anyways, my point is that
we're getting off into the weeds.
We went to Urban Rest, and then two individuals came up to us and said, "Hey, is this the Hard4Games convention?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know you. I've met you before." And this were two individuals that came to our meet and greet. So we chatted for 25 minutes, and it was really nice. And I was a little distracted because my wife was then watching my son, and I didn't even want her to come because she was in pain because she's having stitches in her side and cramps and stuff with her pregnancy. So I'm like, is she okay? So I was a little distracted, but it was very flattering that they wanted to talk to us, and I just feel I don't know, maybe, I guess it is overwhelming if so many people recognize you that maybe it gets to your head, because in a way, so many people email us that I can't respond to everything. It's just too much, especially when someone's like, "Hey, I found this amazing rare card. It's, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, and it says not for resale on it. It was the one that was bundled in with every Genesis. Do you think this is rare? How much does it cost?" I'm not going to answer that kind of crap. But there's just so much that it's
Tony's narcissism begins.
Well, I mean, it's there's only so much time in the day. I need to spend time with my son too, and not answer emails all day. But I mean, if someone can't do a Google search first, I'm probably not going to respond. But point is that I feel like there's a certain point where it goes from flattering to annoying for people, and then annoying to expected. You know what I mean? They feel like what they have in terms of their fame is it just gets their head. And there was this story on, there were all these videos about Jared, And none of these individuals that were doing any of these videos had even met him, you know. But there was a CU podcast, Completely Unnecessary Podcast, with Pat the NES Punk, who's worked with him. And I highly recommend you check it out because he talks about his personal experience and how as Jared got bigger and bigger and bigger, he left Pat behind, basically. And like Pat originally helped him and encouraged him to make his own channel. And then as his star was rising, they were doing this collaboration, and then Jared just like pieced out. And it was just like, you know, just didn't want to have anything to do with him, basically, because he had reached a certain point. So like, I don't know. I don't really have like a really solid like formed thought on this regarding it, but I just wanted to like note, I guess.
You just wanted to fire off a stream of consciousness.
Yeah, just because I think
poor unwitting people.
Well, yeah, because I think it's just so bizarre. I'd like to hear everybody else's thoughts on this, like why these people like get like this. And it might be because I'm vindictive, because like back in the day, like I remember, you know, messaging Normal Boots when they were up and coming to join. They never responded twice. Messaging Screw Attack, they rejected us. You know, messaging Channel Awesome, which also went down in flames, they never responded. You know what I mean? So it's just like all these people that were too busy for us. No, like all like fell apart.
In Screw Attack's instance, they were like, hey, we just had a lot of people leave and we're sort of reevaluating how we hire people. So theirs was like a completely professional answer.
No, they responded really nicely.
Everybody else was like
they also hired on new partners the next month. So what he was saying was very nice to me in the rejection letter, but it was also completely a lie. So, but
I mean, the other channels were probably just honestly better than us.
Yeah, no, I totally get the reason. I totally get the reason why, and I probably would have made the same decision, to be 100% honest with you. You know, but I don't know. I just think it's very bizarre. John, I guess, do you have any thoughts on this? I mean, I kind of just stream of consciousing it a little bit here, but I just think it's strange.
I'm still kind of thinking of a proper way to say it, but something you had said earlier, it's something that normally grinds my gears in a YouTube video, where in a live stream it makes perfect sense where you go, hey, let me know what your guys' thoughts are in like chat. But I hate it when people are like, hey, I said a whole bunch of crazy crap. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. I'm not going to read any of them, and I literally have the notifications turned off, but push the video further. And it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I read quite a bit of our comments, and every now and then I do respond and stuff. But yeah, like I love when people are just like, but as content creators, we like completely understand why they're pushing that, because the algorithm forces you to.
Yeah.
But it just seems so insincere.
Yeah, I think there's...
But as far as YouTubers go, yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess it's like, if people rise really quick, just some people get like a real like ego, and it's weird to see how the same experience is so different with so many different people. Like my sister works in she does a lot of costume work on movies. Like I think she was in Unit 2 for Endgame. She did like Batman versus Superman, like all these different things. And she always has these different stories of like just what a complete difference it can be, like just one celebrity to the next. Even like some people who are like huge celebrities, you'd think like, oh, they have the entire world. They could act like a child every single day and everybody would still have to pay them. And no, some of them are just like really, really cool, down to earth people. And then like sometimes you'll get an extra who's like the biggest dick in the world.
I feel like that's a good analogy, because I feel like YouTube celebrities are like the extras in movies.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I made it. I'm on set. Like, I'm finally here. And like, you can kind of see how, and I'm not making fun of him for his looks, but you could see how like Jared is kind of like this nerdy guy, you know, a little more like more unique looking, I guess you could say, and kind of a thin, kind of guy. So it's like, so suddenly he gets famous, and like people started to come at like after him like sexually, and you know he's probably got more attention than he's ever gotten before. So you could probably see, not that he was like this in high school, but like let's say pretend that he was, or maybe another YouTuber. You know, if I was had zero attention from the opposite sex in high school, college, whatever, and then suddenly everyone was like, you know, it'd get to your head, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna say agree with what Professor Penne just said. A YouTuber who is big that isn't a narcissist is James from Cinemassacre.
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
met that guy IRL, and he was extremely humble and down to earth. And I'm gonna agree with that. We got to meet him very briefly at the first SGC we went to, and no, he was a super cool dude.
Yeah, I was
The
actually.
the only time I think I even got like the hint of an attitude from him was one person, like he'd finally gotten a moment to sit down and eat his lunch, and somebody immediately runs up and like, "Hey, AVGN, can I?" And he's just like, "Can I eat my lunch first?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, dude." And then he ate his lunch, and then he chatted with the guy later, and that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like an overwhelmed situation. Yeah, but I was actually thinking that I forgot to say it. I'm glad you brought it up. Was that like it's funny because the granddaddy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was just waiting.
Well,
There's some shuffling on your end. I was waiting for it to die down.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been pacing around, and my mic must have been bumping into stuff.
Oh, okay. Do I make you nervous?
No, I just like to pace while I talk.
You're not gonna
It
ghost me, are
annoys
you?
some people, but yeah, I'm gonna ghost you.
Okay.
No,
But what I was gonna say was that he's the granddaddy of like YouTube gamers, you know, and the granddaddy of
yeah.
YouTube gaming is the most humble one, and all the ones who came after and were inspired by him are the assholes. You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
I love how whenever there's another huge new drama thing in the YouTube video gaming community, there's like just there's like a copy pasta of just it's a picture of like James and his wife and their kid that always appears on 4chan. It's like, you know, when Channel Awesome was blowing up, it was basically the post like everybody venting all this crazy stuff about all this crazy stuff that happens, but the original is still going strong, still raising a fantastic family, still putting out great content, and is still an awesome guy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's weird too because like with these different like dramas, like depending on what exactly happened, obviously, and the different groups of people, like some of these people can't like escape like so for like the drama, like it just follows them forever. Like so I follow she doesn't go by this handle anymore, but was it Obscurus Lupa, Alison Pregler, I think.
Oh yeah,
Pregler.
yeah.
So I watch her videos from time and again, and she does really good like super dedicated Baywatch reviews and stuff. They're really funny. But occasionally I see her tweet like how she had blocked certain words like channel awesome and this and that, but like Twitter, I guess, doesn't block those if people tag you in stuff that talks about it. So like it's just like she's trying to escape this channel awesome drama like years after the fact, and it just
Just
keeps
keeps coming back.
coming
Yeah.
and coming and coming and kind of like until it's just like you know. So it just seems like you know, and then some other people are just drama magnets, you know, and they just
Yeah.
not her specifically, but just some other people in general, they just like can't
Some
escape
people will
drama.
also simply never move on from one. Like, there's probably dozens of different major Twitter drama events that people can point to. And I'm sure you can find people, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, still tweeting about these same damn things, trying to bring things up. And it's just like, whew, yeah. I can't wait until we all become raging jerks and completely nuke this channel in an idiotic mistake. It's going to be a wild ride, and it's going to be a nightmarish hellscape to live with afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? That's probably a far way out because I'm the biggest jerk out of all of us, and I'm still pretty level-headed. So, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the chat and I saw the. Do you remember that room in the Matrix with all the screens and the chair in the
Yeah.
center? That's YouTube.
You know, your pause really worried me because what I said is that us destroying ourselves is a long way out because I'm the biggest jerk among us, and I'm still pretty level-headed, right? And then you just said nothing.
Okay, that is a perfect time to pause then.
You were such an asshole. You're like, I'm talking to you, and you're like, da da
Oh
da da
man,
da.
sorry. No, I just thought that was such a perfect way to sum up YouTube. With like comments.
I still don't know if you're laughing at what I
hilarious.
said or because you started reading the comments again.
No, I laughed at the comment first, and then when you explained what I had paused before, that made it even funnier. That it was unintentional.
I know that is actually pretty good timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the comment, Craig.
Don't let Tony know this, but I think he's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Craig Nowicki says John still says nothing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, anyways. So I guess that's kind of everything we have to say on that particular topic. I just think YouTube drama is a little bit silly. Like, I'm not super big on calling people out. I mean, the worst we do is drunkenly in our episode yesterday. At the very end of the episode, I say, I love you all, but not in a pro Jared way. And then that's the end of the episode. But
well, there was a lot of alcohol.
There's a lot of alcohol
in that episode, and just preemptively, we apologize to Shelby for having to go through the footage for that.
You know what though? Because we did
shit show.
We did doing 2 games. I think it'll be easier because we spent less time on each game. So generally, when we do a game and we review it, the more we're just playing it, the more we tend to repeat ourselves. So the more crap she has to filter out and be like, okay, these are like comments, these are like comments, this is which one of these 5 times did they say this? Which time one of these 5 times was the best version? You know, so there's a lot less of that in yesterday's episode. But there's a lot of drunken singing that you'll have to wade through. That's a guarantee.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that. There are so many parts where someone will say something rather crude, and someone will turn to the camera and go, "Edit that out, Shelby," and somebody else goes, "Keep it in."
Keep it in.
I can't wait for her supercut of us arguing with each other drunkenly over whether or not awful takes should stay in.
Okay, Craig says, please notice me in a pro Jared secret chat way. Just kidding, he says. Yeah, that's just so weird because he had like all these different layers of like, okay, you could be part of his nudes Tumblr. And then he had his Sin Jared Tumblr blog, which was like, anyone that I trust enough that has sent me enough nudes can be part of this like elite, like top tier, like sex blog. You know, like it's just like, it's like, that's a little, David Ceases did a video come out yesterday, or you filmed yesterday. We filmed yesterday. I was intending to have a video come out, but my wife had to be taken to the hospital Monday. She got a flat tire on Thursday. A lot of life happened last week. The joke is generally if we have any fun whatsoever, we get punished. So for example, our friend Bill's wedding, my son got a fever. Last time we went camping, my son got a fever. Last time we went out, one of us got sick the next day. So we had our anniversary and Mother's Day in one weekend. We went to see Natasha Leggero. She was hilarious. Saw her in the Detroit area. We saw we watched Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf on Saturday, which is an amazing classic film. I definitely recommend watching
Tony's
it. It's
a boomer,
fantastic.
confirmed.
No, it was amazing. It's
boomer.
like
no, it is actually a pretty.
It's like an R-rated, like a hard R-rated movie in 1966. Like,
ooh.
So
I bet somebody said bull feathers in it.
No, I don't.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know what that is. But anyways, point is that we had a lot of fun and we were heartily punished because whenever we have too much fun, the world, like Anna and I just know in past life we were terrible people. One of us must have been a murderer because just karmically, like anytime we have fun, we get punished. So we had so much fun, and then Anna had to be taken to the hospital on Monday, and she told me that when I was an hour away, almost about to pick up our son. In rush hour traffic. So I turned around. If anyone's living in Michigan or near the 75 area, I-75 is just construction right now. So I had to I barreled down the construction zone at like 75 miles an hour, which doesn't sound like much, but it's like 55, 60 when during construction. And
60.
It was all 60, yeah. And it was also rush hour. So anyways.
So Tony became that stereotypical jag-off driving way too fast through traffic in an SUV. Yeah. But he actually had a good reason, unlike every other person doing
it. Was actually not an SUV, but either way.
Oh, you didn't have the SUV.
I was in the Nissan at the time. But Yeah, anyways, I don't remember why I started talking about this, but
You've had a wild week. That's probably why.
oh yeah, so that's why we didn't do a video this past
Yeah,
week.
but brand new video in the can last night, so that's
Yes.
good.
And I'm getting a Virtual Boy that has RGB out this week, so I might whip together something with that. So it should be pretty good. Also, I want to do a lot of like Virtual Boy streams now that I can have an RGB out Virtual Boy. So hopefully the super chats of those videos will pay for the Virtual Boy, because whoo, I'm selling some stuff. Let's just put it that way.
We got a Detroit poster in the YouTube chat who says he's in the 11 Mile and Stevenson Highway area. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I actually work not too far from there. Mondays and Tuesdays I work at Retro Taku. So
Retro Taku Video Games at 11 and basically between 75 and John R. Yeah.
Yeah, not far from there.
Indeed. Anyways, let's move on to
although
our next...
I drive like somebody's grandmother. So
John is the pokiest person in the world. I remember John interned at his father's company, or the company that his father worked for a while, years ago. And they would drive separately because they had different hours, but they'd leave it at the same time often. And John's dad would beat him back by like 20 minutes.
Oh, that guy can drive like a speed demon sometimes. It's only sometimes, though. Sometimes
I once was
he's slow. Sometimes he's really fast. It's not very consistent.
I was once in the car with John, and he didn't turn left because there was a car about like a quarter mile away. And it just
I mean, you don't know what that car might have done. Yeah, that was probably a long time ago.
Yeah, John, since he started lifting and Ubering, I think you got a little more confident in your ability to go the speed limit. But back in like college days, you were like a 5 under guy. Like super slow.
I was 5 under for a while, and then I became an exact speed limit guy. Now I just, as a rule of thumb, it's always 5 over at all times. Yeah. Unless with Lyft, you do occasionally get like motion sick people. So sometimes I do have to be that guy going 55 in the right-hand lane in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. Yeah. Because guess what? I don't want somebody throwing up in my car when they're begging me to go slower.
Yeah, so I still, every once in a while with Anna, like if we're turning onto a road and there's like a car way off in the distance, like barely visible, I'm like, oh man, if I was John, I probably would not take this turn. Just because that one time that you were like, we just like waited like 45 seconds for this car to pass, and then you turned. Oh my God. It was bad. But yes, you are much different now than you used to be. So let's move on to Mario Maker. Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Maker 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Ooh, yeah. This is I'm very happy that some of those like great games that no one played because it came out on the Wii U are starting to get releases on the Switch.
Yeah.
Wind Waker HD, hint hint, please Nintendo. But yeah, no, it looks awesome. The new one.
Yeah, I had it pulled up, but I think I just killed the window here, so I'm gonna like actually pull up the trailer again here in the really boomer toning it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, chat, start calling him a boomer again.
Yeah. Oops. Oh.
If I leave the window open, will hackers get into my computer through the internet?
The answer is 100% yes.
Yeah, Wind Waker Water World Edition.
There we go. Okay, got it back up. All right, yeah, so here we have Mario Maker, and this is Mario Maker 2. Going to skip to some of the new stuff. There's a day and night. There's all sorts of different things you can do with speed of scrolling and verticality with levels. There's the new Mario World setting. There's just a ton of new stuff here. And I was like, oh, well, how are they going to make it really that different? But I'm not going to go through every little thing, but they made it significantly different. As you can see here, it's kind of showcasing different things. But another thing that I was very pleasantly surprised about is that the announcer, like the woman who's doing the announcing in this, is excited and quirky. And I want to go back and watch the original Mario Maker, direct, because I'm sure it was like Iwata being like, this is Mario. You can make levels on the Nintendo Wii. And then when they got the English speaker up, that person was like, now you can make levels on the Nintendo Wii with Mario. And Nintendo Direct is all business directed towards the fans. We cannot show any excitement whatsoever. Like, seriously, as I hate to say it, I know it's really more of a marketing thing, but as soon as Nintendo got a new president and the Switch started coming around and coming into its own, suddenly the Directs had personality. You know what I mean? Like, they were so dry beforehand. I wanted to, like, just... it was killing me.
The person who narrates them is, like, ever so slightly dry, but in a way that works. And they also seem like, I'm going to very evenly, clearly explain all of this. But you can tell I have some enthusiasm for it. And it's like, all right, I kind of like this. Yeah, this works.
Yeah.
I mean, anything is better than what was it, the terrible live translation they had for the Switch announcement.
Oh, yeah. Where the guy just stopped talking for 5 minutes?
No, there was somebody up on stage, and they're just talking and talking and talking in Japanese. You could hear the translator like, Splatoon 2 will... and you could just, like, hear the beads of sweat on this person's brow.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What have I done? I'm too deep.
Yeah. So you can see here the different mechanics, you know, with the new Super Mario World sort of type stuff, like the 3D World stuff, different things going on. But yeah, I mean, I was just, like, very pleasantly surprised with the presentation of this, because I was definitely like, all right, well, what are they going to do different that's different than Mario Maker? You know, what's going to be, what's going to make this worth it? And I really think that what they're doing here will add so many new wrinkles to the gameplay. I think it'd just be really interesting. And another very important thing is being on the Switch. You know, Mario Maker for the Wii U was like this, like a phenomena, but no one had a Wii U comparatively to the Switch. So you're going to get so
I think the
many
Switch has 3
levels.
times the sales.
Well, yeah, and so you're going to have so much more opportunity to have people go online and put their levels. I mean, there were already a lot of really great levels on the Wii U version online. I haven't been online in a long time with the Wii U and with Mario Maker, but just imagine the possibilities when your user base is 3 times bigger. Like, that'll be revolutionary. There'll be so much stuff, you know? I'm gonna read some of these comments here. Oh, sorry, go on.
That game's going to be fantastic with just so many more people making shit for it. Also, the amount of just absolute madness that's going to be in there. Somebody asked if there will be a Trump Tower in it.
I'm sure there will be.
I'm sure that will probably be, like, the first 2 things people will make will be a penis and Trump Tower. We just know that to be true. Yeah. And then remakes of other things, and then, like, those just crazy glitched, like, psychopath levels.
Yeah.
Where you have no idea what in the hell is happening, and then you watch the video of the person beating it, and you have no idea how, like, it's like looking into a different dimension. You can't even comprehend it.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, I am pretty excited for this. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. They're going to talk about the online stuff here now. You do have to have a Switch Nintendo Online membership, the paid membership, which I don't have, but I might get if I get this. And there's just so many possibilities. Oh, another thing too is going to come pre-packed with 100 Nintendo-made levels to kind of teach you about the different new mechanics.
Oh, nice.
So basically, it's going to have essentially like a de facto Super Mario World game built into it.
Nice.
So like that's a big win.
That's an extra. Yeah.
That's a big win. I mean, even if you're like not, like even if you're only occasionally making levels, I mean, 100 levels to play through, that's a game. Right there.
Yeah.
Like that's just a full friggin' game. So I don't know, just all pretty exciting stuff. Chops McCartney is in the chat. Oh, very cool, very cool. So yeah, John, anything final to say about old Mario Maker?
I hope it sells well, and I hope it convinces Nintendo that they should bring a few more things that would have been bigger hits, but they were released on the Wii U. Like, I was just talking to a customer in RetroTaku yesterday, and we were both like, why the hell isn't there a Switch version of Pikmin 3? People love Pikmin. We can't keep Pikmin stocked at RetroTaku. It just sells as soon as we get a copy. People love Pikmin. And they're like, I don't know. I mean, we already made the whole game. Do we want to take a minor amount of time to port it? It's like, yeah, do it.
They have been doing that quite a bit though with Wii U games. I mean, they've really pushed out a lot of Wii U titles onto the Switch.
They
which
fixed those weird ass controls that the last Star Fox game had.
Ooh,
that could be
yeah.
good.
Everyone was like, because I remember playing that with Mitchell, and Mitchell really got into it. I was just like, no, this like kills my experience.
The 2-player kind of works.
Yeah, kind of.
But the 1-player is a single mind cannot comprehend it. Our boomer minds cannot possibly comprehend that game.
No,
it's
definitely not.
Just crazy gibberish.
GDub2333 says, Tony, your level It's a Race was great. I'm pretty sure that's a level I made on Mario Maker, but it's been so long I don't remember. Oh, man. Tony is Syrian or what? I used to think Italian, but I think he said otherwise. My mother's half Italian, so there's that. And then you'll just have to guess the rest, I suppose. John, what do you think?
I was going to just say I think I know most your background. I know that you mention Italian the most often.
Yeah,
I think a little bit Mexican,
everyone,
right?
Yeah, I'm a quarter Mexican. I'm a quarter Italian, or I'm half Italian, half Italian, or quarter, depending on how you look at it, because of border changes throughout history. If you look at like pre-World War II, you would probably be looking at half Italian, and if you look at like post-World War II, it would be a quarter Italian, quarter Austrian. So, because it kind of just depends. So then, so basically, if you really divide it up or take a look at like today's map, it'd be a quarter Italian, a quarter Mexican, quarter Austrian, and then the other quarter is like Great Britain mutt, like between Irish, Scottish, English, that kind of stuff. So everyone always thinks I'm like Middle Eastern, but I don't have any Middle Eastern in me. So
well, there are a lot of Middle Eastern and especially Lebanese people in the Detroit area.
There are.
My brother-in-law's Lebanese.
Yeah, there's a big Chaldean population as well.
There's a huge Chaldean, a huge Yemeni population.
Yeah,
like a whole bunch of stuff. But to Narcissism is the new expansion for GTA. Narcissism is like, that person kind of hit it perfectly. To value yourself above all else. It's like an obsession with like self-overvaluation sort of thing. Like somebody who's just so in love with themselves is a narcissist.
It's basically the way I think of myself, but don't actually act, you know?
Yeah.
Right, John?
Tony's like the biggest narcissist I've seen since the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
And there we are, mentioning another thing everybody hates on YouTube to the point where we don't even want to like hearing about it.
Well,
the Paul brothers. But let me tell you something. I have an extra beef with them. Yeah. They're from Ohio.
Oh,
so, you know, there you go.
Ohio is the anus of Michigan.
Okay, I will say there are actually some really good parts of Ohio.
No,
it's a long-running thing where Ohio and Michigan just dunk on each other all the time.
Michigan's like beautiful. Like go up north and it's like gorgeous. We have the same sand dunes and we have mountains and we have these beautiful expansive beaches and we have all the Great Lakes except for that dumb one. And then like Ohio is just like a state that's like practically landlocked. Just boring. They all think they thought they fought in the Confederacy when it's like clearly they didn't. You know,
like if I may play devil's advocate in defense of Ohio.
No, you may not. Ohio is terrible.
They gave us Devo.
Cedar Point is like a place.
In the southern parts of Ohio.
Cedar Point is like a fun place to go, but there's nothing Ohio about it. It's just something that someone built in Ohio.
Well, that tends to be how things work out.
Yeah, well, I mean, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing
Detroit
inherently...
is in Michigan because it was built in Michigan.
I know, but, like, Detroit has a culture, right? So there's a difference between me, like, okay, there's a culture in Detroit versus, like, Ohio has a theme park. You know what I mean? Who cares about a theme... roller coasters.
There's also some other stuff.
Like what?
There's some awesome zoos and museums and stuff like that all around.
Okay, so there's some museums, whatever.
I will say Cincinnati's pretty cool. I haven't spent too much time in Columbus, though. But friends of mine went to Ohio University, and Athens is a neat little town.
Okay, well, that's fine. But otherwise...
I love everybody... Just dunking on Ohio.
Ohio.
What does that make Wisconsin? That is the tick capital of the world.
I'm sure there are some great people that are trapped in Ohio, but it doesn't make Ohio an okay place. Okay, I'm not saying that everybody in Ohio is bad. I'm just saying that Ohio is awful.
I like how this is an episode about narcissism, and we're just lauding all of these accolades on our own state and talking shit about another state.
Michigan is like
never really wronged us personally.
No, but you don't understand. No, it did wrong us because
Drew Carey's from Ohio. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a fine show and a fine actor, but anyways, because the Drew Carey show took place in Cleveland. But anyways, point is that you go into Ohio and the friggin' highways go from like 70 in Michigan to like 50, 55 in Ohio. So you're trying to get anywhere. The whole state is a speed trap, right? The whole state is a speed trap. They're just trying to get tax money, and the second they see that you have a Michigan plate, they are on your ass. They're like, "Oh, he's going 56." Boom. My boss...
Yeah, no, I've had cops follow me for a long time. Yeah. Even though I drive like somebody's grandmother, they will just be like, "Oh, is that a Michigan plate? I'm just going to follow you for like the next 15, 20 miles."
That's discrimination. So like the point is that that's statist is what it is. And like my boss told me that
I think that technically means something else, but...
Oh, I don't know. But anyways, point is that like... Fartist123 says Ohio is where you relocate if you need a new identity. Anyways, point is that my boss got a ticket for going like 3 over in Ohio.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Yeah, Ohio is like, no, you don't do that. So like, just for anyone who's not familiar, maybe listening from outside of the United States, imagine Michigan is not every part of Michigan, but like, Michigan as a whole is a New York strip steak, okay? And Ohio is like the kind of steak you get when you get steak and eggs at a Denny's.
Hold on. Necronut Plays says... Illinois is the best state. 4 of the last 8 governors are in prison. Beat that, everyone else.
There you go.
I gotta say, I actually love going to Chicago. I've got some friends over there, and
Chicago's great.
Despite Illinois' foibles, I love going over there.
Chicago's fantastic.
And somebody asked about Wisconsin earlier, and I'm always jealous of Wisconsin because I love that New Glarus beer. I always see it on Red Letter Media, and I can't get it. You can't get it if you're not in the state of Wisconsin. They refuse to sell it elsewhere.
So, John, by the way, so basically, speaking of Chicago, I asked, Eric kept telling me that he was going to want to help demo my basement. And
and then he's going to be in Chicago.
Then he's like, I specifically chose a date that he said would be best for him, and then now he's going to Chicago. So, by the way, what are you doing on the 25th? Because now we only have 2 people to help, me and Bobby. You want to swing a hammer at a wall? Because we could really use you, and I'm serious about that if you have any availability.
Maybe. I got to double check because there's a birthday that I have to go to at some point, and I might have to work a day at Retro Taco.
Okay, well, even if it's just for an hour or something here or there or whatever, just let me know because
I'll just
my
sit
God.
there and tell you to pace yourself and do no actual work.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so let's get back to our announcements here because we covered all of our topics, including the Ohio bashing, which was very important. But for those of you that were not here at the very beginning of the stream, we'll be doing a... where's my mouse? There we go. Here we go. We will be doing a charity event for the ASPCA. It is a sort of like a anti-animal cruelty organization. We'll be doing that on June 23rd via our live stream, via Hard4Games Gaiden at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did shift a little bit earlier today because of Game of Thrones, but this will be June 23rd, 7 p.m. We will be selling these things in the chat. They are replica shell casings of N64 DD games, i.e. the discs for the N64. We'll also be selling off my handprint my mom gave back to me from 1990.
That's her saying she's disappointed in you as a son.
That's right, it is. So we're going to be selling off all of those things. The rules will be explained day of. I did explain at the beginning of the chat. I'm not going to go through it again. But point is that any super chats that you give us that day will also go to that charity. And all the transactions, not the super chats, but for the items will be via PayPal, include your address, all that stuff, and we'll be giving showing the receipts on social media about a week later once we get all the funds together and ship it all out. We'd like to do an event like this once or twice a year. This is going to be our first one that we've done online. We have done charity events in the past, but never like this. We're trying something new. So we hope that you all can join us. Spread the word. ASPCA charity event, June 23rd, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope that you guys all show up, buy a little something, or just toss us a buck in the super chat, and then we're going to give that all the charity.
And we are even going to accept dollars from Ohioans.
Oh, no. We don't accept Ohio currency.
So, for those of you who are not in the Midwest, this is what Midwesterners do. We just come up with random, arbitrary grudges against the people next door to us.
It's not arbitrary.
There's not much.
It's terrible.
Else
Ohio's
really
terrible
to do out here. So,
no, Ohio is terrible, John. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Knowing that there's air from like storms that blow up through Ohio to the Detroit area that I then have to breathe molecules that have been breathed out by Ohioans is it kills me, John.
See,
literally
this is
and
why
figuratively.
They call us the flyover states. They want to fly over this bickering. When you're flying over us, you just look down and it's people having arbitrary football grudges below you.
I really don't care that much about it. I don't really have a grudge against Ohio. I do think it's terrible, but I don't like actively think about Ohio that much. Oh my goodness. I would have thought that Detroit is a toilet, except for the Hard4Games crew. So, little history of Detroit. In the 90s, it was like a total slum. Since then...
Well, I mean, since like the 60s and 70s, it's been having serious
well, there's a lot
rising
going
crime.
on. Yeah,
it was awful, and it wasn't until maybe 10 years ago it really started turning around.
What happened
but
was
it wasn't until like the last 4 or 5 that people really started going like, "Whoa, holy shit, this town changed."
Yeah, so like basically you had
There's a raccoon in my backyard. That's totally relevant to the podcast.
That is. Basically, you had the race riots in Detroit. There was some of the late 40s, some of the late 60s, and you had a bunch of like flight out of the city. And then in the 90s, you had like Chrysler moved out of downtown Detroit, Ford moved out of Detroit, and moved to the suburbs. GM, I think they moved and they came back, but right now they're currently in. But basically, it caused a lot of issues. So in the last 10, 15 years, there's been a revitalization of Detroit. People have been moving back down there. There's still a lot of work to be done, but Detroit is freaking awesome. Like, we go down there whenever we possibly can. The restaurants are amazing. There's a lot of culture, a lot of barcades, great breweries, tasting rooms, tap rooms. Like, you can't beat the Detroit food scene. It's so good. And so much better than Ohio in every imaginable way, basically. John, would you agree with that or no?
Well, I just noticed that in the chat somebody said that apparently John Riggs is from Ohio. So that's another good Ohio.
Okay, John Riggs is okay. Ohio gets +1 because it birthed John Riggs, and he seems like a good guy.
It gave us a whole bunch of our astronauts and Devo.
Stop all this, John. I don't want to hear any defending.
Well...
Yeah, it says, Michigan's near the Canadian border. That's right, so we can go to Canada like that if we want to. Plus, we're defending the country from Canada simultaneously. So, yeah. Anyways, that's...
That reminds me, Tony, this is a complete and utter waste of time and an aside.
Yes.
But I know there are some crazy video game stores up in Toronto, and one of these days, would you be interested in hopping the border, taking a train, or maybe driving to Toronto, go shoot and check out some stuff, and potentially go to the hot the hottest new restaurant in the world,
Oh.
Garfield Eats, a Garfield-themed restaurant that just opened in Toronto for some reason.
I'm going to give you a big no just because of that. Actually, I would love to do that, but it's just hard because I'm not living, as you say, the dink life. It'd be very difficult for me to get out of here with a newborn coming. So it would have to be very strategically planned. I would be interested, but we would have to
I
do a lot of logistics.
The same day your wife is due, just for simplicity's sake. It's
for simplicity's sake, yeah.
You know,
instead of worrying if we're going to miss anything, we'll just know we're going to miss something.
That way you can have total control.
Yeah. Greg asks, how was SNES's show? It was very good. I wish you would have joined us, sir. It was good stuff. It was good stuff. I was missing you. I was crying. When's my boy going to show up? But no, but for real though, it was a lot of fun. SNES rocked the house. But yeah, so final announcement of the day. Excuse me, I need a little water here. But we have made our P.O. Box public information now. You can mail us stuff if you would like. You don't have to, but if there's something you'd like to send us, please feel free to do so. That is in the description and also the About section of our channel. One disclaimer is that is not to be utilized for borrows. Our borrowing process with collectors and borrowing stuff to review and then send back, hence borrow, is a process that we have to communicate with you with. So don't send us anything that you want us to send you back, or like surprise us that you want it back, because that's a lot of money and a lot of work on our ends. But just so you're aware, the P.O. Box is available if anyone's interested in sending us anything. And check the description for more details. So that's all I have for today. John, final thoughts?
See, I'm trying to think. That there was a thing I was going to say. It was like an entertaining video gaming gripe. I'm kind of trying to remember. Also, Tony, you know how at the start of this stream, just before we went live, I said that this install said it was going to take 8 minutes?
Yes.
The timer now says 5 minutes.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think my PlayStation 3 hard drive may be on its last legs.
Yeah, I think it's dead. I think it's dead, John.
Yeah,
It's dead.
Let's see. Oh, geez, what was I going to say?
Well, we do have a Patreon while you're thinking about it. Information in the description below if you're interested in supporting us. We do have a Patreon-only Discord chat where you can have a little bit more one-on-one access to us. We're pretty active, myself and John. Also, the Reverend Bobby is very active in it. And, yeah, it's just a good place to...
Mitchell's on there.
Yeah, Mitchell's on there. Well. Share dank memes, all that good stuff. And we also have other Patreon rewards as well. So, yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for watching, supporting the show, and I guess we'll see you all next time. John, unless you had anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to remember it, like, right after we end the stream.
That's the way it always...
Then I'll remember, or we can just have a whole bunch of dead air. Actually, you know what? Let me look over the notes again.
In case it pops up in your head.
Hopefully, this doesn't just end up turning into us ranting about Ohio for more.
I like how like you said it was like ranting about narcissism, and then we just ranted about Ohio.
Yeah. So let's see. We do have the. Oh yeah, weren't we going to talk about upcoming episodes? Or
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
okay, I appreciate that. Upcoming episodes include Police Knots with John, the Virtual Boy I almost said joystick because I'm tired. Joystick. Virtual Boy Jerkstick. I have a Virtual Boy coming that has RGB out. So basically, I'm going to be doing a video that's like the ultimate. Really? Yeah, it's I got to sell some stuff because oh my god. But I'm going to be doing a video that's like the ultimate Virtual Boy setup that you guys can't have because I bought the last one of these joysticks and the last one of the RGB out Virtual Boys.
I'm amazed that you actually were able to get that because I know that
he reopened
did like a really small run.
Well, you know what I did? Someone bought it, installed it, jacked the price up, and I bought it from him on eBay.
Oh.
The joystick was the guy reopened the store so I could buy it.
Wow.
Because I had previously told him I was going to get it, but hem and hawed, and then ultimately didn't. But then I did.
Tony swinging his 50,000 subscriber balls.
Yeah, but he was like, I can't give you a discount. I didn't ask for one, but I'm like, hey, I'll help promote your stuff, you know. And I was just like, if there's anything he wants to give me, you know, make this a little easier, kind of an expensive joystick. And he's like, I can't give you a discount. But he did.
Tony trying to screw an honest businessman.
No, I was just.
Money.
It's
wants his family to starve.
No, that's not true. But if we do a video and it takes off and they get sales, then it more than makes up for a slight discount in the price.
See, Tony's already trying to become an influencer, you know.
Go away. Anyways, we have our Virtual Boy episode coming up. I also have some modded Wonder Swans I'm going to be talking about with a backlight and a front light. We have a Saturn development unit coming in the mail. Apparently it weighs 50 pounds. We have a PlayStation Super Slim prototype coming that we will be taking a look at. And we also have our 40 Winks episode that we shot last night. So we have some great stuff in the pipeline. I probably should stop the stream because I really need a drink of water. But I appreciate all of you.
They do make these glasses and bottles that you can just have so you can have
Well,
water.
you refused to go do video with us. If you had done video with us, you'd notice I do have a glass, but it's all empty. So...
they make taps.
Go away. All right, guys, we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you all stay very hard for games. And, yeah, I was going to say I'll try to be less bro dude. Like one of the comments said I should be less bro dude in the video. So I'm trying to be less bro dude for all of you.
Just keep, get some muscle shirts and like really...
Yeah.
There's a company that makes the temporary, really authentic looking tattoos. You should get some tribal bicep tattoos.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be good.
Sick.
I actually have some pretty good musculature from here up, but from here down, I just can't.
Narcissism.
I can't. No. Here's the thing: is that like I've always had like a little bit of just a little punch, you know, just a little bit, nothing crazy, but just a little bit. I mean, you've seen me with my shirt off. Like it's nothing spectacular to look at. But I've always had good musculature up top because I can gain a little bit of muscle, some definition. But like down bottom, it's just like it's never been good. Like I'm really jealous of Dave, you know, and his waist goes in, mine goes in and then out and then in again, you know. So I can't do a muscle shirt because I would just be lying. Everyone would just see my fat, you know. But maybe one day, if I get some cool sculpting done, I should do a GoFundMe for some cool sculpting. So, John, what do you think? GoFundMe for cool sculpting or no?
I think that would truly turn you into like a bro dude. You know what?
It's an FDA approved procedure. Gets rid of fat, non-surgical.
I think I should send you that video I made. While they were playing, I used one of those like AR makeup apps that everybody on Instagram uses, and made them all look like horrifying aliens and recorded it while they were playing.
Yes, you should post that on Twitter if you want.
Yeah, I
review it. Make sure we're not like saying anything super inappropriate. And then if we're not, then go ahead and put it on Twitter.
Knowing Twitter, you want everything as clean as possible when it goes up there.
Anyways, guys, we're rambling as this whole thing was just rambling. That's what happens when Richie isn't here.
That's kind of what podcasts usually are.
Podcasts? No, but I was gonna say when Richie's here, normally we're pretty on top of it. But alas, just you and me, we're just shooting the shit, having a good time, and we're just crazy people, you and I. Horrible narcissists, you and me. But anyways, we'll see you all next time, guys. I'm gonna end the stream and.
Thank you all for being graced by my presence.
Thank you all for being graced by my presence. And to quote myself from last night, I love you all, but not in a pro Jared way. We'll see you all next time.
Yeah, see you.